Greetings, Patrick here, 8 Questions with, and welcome to the second half of our doubleheader. Earlier today, we talked to Swedish filmmaker Gustav Jungdahl and had an awesome time. That was a great show. Um, really well supported. Thank you, everybody who came out and supported the show. We had a lot of fun with Gustav, and we'll be seeing him again soon when his new film uh, 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 is released. He will be talking about that with us, hopefully in January. That's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for January. So that'll be very exciting and just a terrific talent. And which really bodes well for us because we have another young talent today that we'll be talking to tonight, and Canadian filmmaker Ryder Hartman. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. Um, both Ryder and Gustav, I was in one of my groups, and and I asked if anybody wanted to talk, and I should have probably mentioned that with Gustav because he was very wise, in seeing a press opportunity. But I was equally impressed with Ryder because he recognized the photo was too an opportunity to come talk to somebody and be interviewed and get a chance to talk about you, yourself, and your career. And that's pretty good for a really young filmmaker as well. A lot of young filmmakers aren't really seasoned enough to do that. So I'm impressed, and we're going to be talking to him about his career, including his short film Auto Heist, which I watched, and I'll be reviewing after the show is over with. It's a terrific little short. A lot of promise here. A lot of promise. This Indie Escape Network is here. Hello, Joe. How are you? Glad you are here. Um, yeah, that was I'm looking forward to this. This is another young filmmaker um, that to meet and to see where they're going to go. And he's from the city of Edmonton, which some of you might know that we've interviewed several people from there. Edmonton has a really thriving film community right now, and I'm glad to have another part of it here on the show. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Joe is here from, like I said, from the Indie Escape Network. Jaden is here. Hi, Jaden. Somebody beat you here from Jaden. You're generally the first one here, and somebody beat you to it today. But glad you're here. Glad you're here. Um, Real quick, give a shout out to, or at least a remembrance to, the passing of James Earl Jones. He passed away this week at age 93. He had a hell of a run. 93 years old, hell of a run. Of course, many remember him, as the voice of Darth Vader. Um, my first memory of James Earl Jones was not Star Wars. Believe it or not, it was not Star Wars. The one I remember, like I actually knew who he was actually Conan the Barbarian, where he played Tulsa Doom, and he was definitely not a nice guy in that movie. Um, Darth Vader is a little different because he was just a voice. Of course, David Prowse played the man himself, um, and James Earl Jones came the voice. Um, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but there's a documentary on Star Wars where they show David Prowse trying to be the voice of Darth Vader, and there's just no way it was going to ever happen for him. He just had no voice for it. He sounded squeaky. He sounded like he needed WD-40. Um, there's just no way he had the same gravitas. I mean, I know that David Prowse was bitter about that, and it led to a falling out between him and George Lucas. But in actuality, James Earl Jones was perfect for the role of Darth Vader, and his voice was magnificent. Uh, yeah, that's a classic movie, though. Holy crow! Conan the Barbarian is amazing. Even today, that movie holds up. It really does hold up, and I enjoy that. Now Conan the Destroyer is solid, but it wasn't quite the same for me as Conan the Barbarian. But that was an exciting movie. Um, Speaking of movies, been watching a few this week. You guys might have noticed we got a new Dollar Tree Voters Edition going. So now you guys get to vote on what me and the Cheetah watch and review. We got the current poll right now in the in the community tab. Nobody has no. I put it. I actually did this. I put a theme into this week's movies. We have 27 people have voted for it, but no one has caught the theme. There's a theme in these movies that I picked for this week, but no one has saw it and commented on it, which really surprises me. Um, but so far it's going to be looks like it's going to be a pretty one-sided battle this week. We pretty much know what we're going to be watching. Generally, we have to like last week we had to wait until literally the last day to get our vote. This week, not a problem, which really surprised me because I am terrible at guessing what you guys want to pick. I am terrible at that. I put them out there going like, okay, I know everybody's going to vote for this movie here. And of course, the Cheetah will sit there and say, no, they're going to vote for this one. And then, of course, he's right and I'm wrong. Um, that we were both right though last week. I did pick. I wanted the Dixie Chicks to win, but I thought Journey would. I thought Journey would win, but I wanted the Dixie Chicks, and they did win. Um, yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool at James Earl? Well, he did do a voiceover. He did a voiceover for CNN for many, many years. And people might have forgotten, but he also did comedy. He did one of the he did one of the scary movies. The one where they parodied War of the Worlds. Yeah, he was the narrator in that movie, and at the end of it, it was pretty funny. Um, it's always interesting when you see a voice like that, and then you hear words that you're not expecting. Um, I mean, probably the two most famous voices. As soon as you hear them, you know exactly who they are. One being James Earl Jones, and the other being Morgan Freeman. Um, but I remember hearing for the first time when Morgan Freeman actually cursed in a movie, and it was so shocking because it's like you're just not ready for that. You're just not ready for that because he has that it's the voice of God, God Almighty. Um, but then you hear him say, like in Wanted, he says, which one of you is gonna pull out your gun and kill this motherfucker? And you're sitting there going like, wow, you're just sort of blown away by that. Um, but those two are the mightiest voices. Uh, let's see. Would be funny if people talked about podcasts. Yeah, well, there's nothing going to happen with my voice. My voice is not all that at all. All right, let me break down the calendar for you guys because we do got some shows coming up here. We definitely need to hype up two really cool shows coming up on September 21st. September 21st, we have we'll be talking with Carrie Goodwin and Maria Paris. They are from the movie Taken from Rio Bravo. We'll be talking to them on a Saturday matinee show at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern time. The special show 4 p.m. On Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So Taken from Rio Bravo has been, I'm not sure about today, as of today, but I do know as of last week, it was the number one movie on Exmo, which is a streaming service that's partly owned by NBC Universal. And the movie was playing on there, and it was ranked number one as far as action movies go. So congratulations to Joe Cornette, Alexander Niski, and their team for making that happen. It's a really really fun movie, and we're going to be getting to talk to two of the actresses that came back from the first movie. Their characters were in the first movie, Gunfight at Rio Bravo, and they returned for Taken from Rio Bravo, and they played key roles. So we'll be talking to Carrie Goodwin uh, and Maria on September 21st. On the 28th, let me do one thing here. I just forgot something here. Okay. On the 28th of September at our regular time, at 8 o'clock on the 28th, we will be interviewing um, writer director Spider Dabrowski, along with two of his co-stars from his film, um, Down Below. God, I always keep that. You know what it is? I think keep on thinking that up so above, down below, and I'm going like I keep thinking about that movie, and I know that's not what it is. But Spider is a terrific talent himself. And we've been this will be our third time talking to Spider, and every time we talk to him, he's got something cool. Yeah, I was right, down below. And see, now there's a movie called So Above, Down Below, I think it is. And so his movie's called Down Below, and we'll be talking with Spider about his film that's going to be coming out on Gravitas Ventures. It's going to be coming out here in October, and I'm super excited about that. Um, yeah, Tatiana's a badass. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Yeah, she is remarkable. And they got a new movie out, which I did not know when we were talking to her. Um, that she just got done releasing a brand new film called Wrath of Prey, where she is acting against Cynthia Rothrock. Now, how much fun is that? I think it's cool as hell. I think it's cool as hell. And I cannot wait to see her character come back in the third Rio Bravo movie. I was assured of two things during our interview with Alexander and Joe. One, Tatiana will be back. And two, the movie will be longer. Uh, Sign me up. He says, Alexander says, I'm telling you, because I'm sitting there going like, I love it, but it's only 80 minutes, man. We want to see like an hour and 40 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes. We want to see some action. And Now I'm not sure if we'll get 2 hours out of Alexander. He might sit there and say, well, whoa there, cowboy. But we definitely know that Rio Bravo, there will be a longer film, which I'm glad for. I'm really am, because it really does captivate you and keep you in the moment. It's what action films are all about. It's what all the good action films are all about. It keeps you engaged and interested, and the good guys versus bad guys, and not everybody's wearing the right color hat. So yeah, Tatiana. Yeah, I definitely want to go and look at some of her other films. If I'll keep my eye out. Hopefully, I'll be able to find some of her other films as well. No, I've known about Alexander for years. When I got Throwdown in Manila, so I know who he was, and so yeah, yeah. I'm with you about that, Stephen. Um, so that's what's happening on the 28th. Oh, the 28th. I mentioned Spider. And we'll also be talking to actress Bai Ling. Will be here with us. Bai Ling will be here with us. And of course, she has done so many great films. Of course, many of us know her from The Crow. I just got done watching one of her films that she did called The Omni Killer. Loved her in that movie. I was so surprised by that performance. I really was. Um, but she also did a great movie, and I do mean it's a good movie. She did one called The Breed with Adrian Paul. Man, that one was cool. That was a cool movie. I really liked that a lot, and she was so good in that. And she's done so many other fun films as well. So Bai Ling will be, yeah. What was she? Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised. Hi, Jamie. How are you? How are you? Um. Uh, oh, Gene Generation. I have to look for those. I have to look for that. I have to finish watching. Or I have to finish reviewing Pale Horse. Uh. Uh. I had to. Kim sent me that copy, a screener of that, and that's a terrific movie. Uh. I'm so happy to interview my yes, I'm happy to interview him as well, Jamie. You guys have such a cool community up in Edmonton. I am totally blown away by that. And and I did, like I said, I did see Ryder's short. He sent me the copy of it today as a screen, and I was super impressed. That was a very interesting. It was very interesting, and very well done. Very well done. It literally hid its whole the reveal until the last possible second. I do mean the last possible second. And all of a sudden, because you're watching it, you're going like, "Okay, what's going to happen?" And then at the very last, you see it, and you go like, "Holy cow, that's awesome!" So, congratulations to Ryder for that. Uh, all right, all right. So, let's see what else. Let me tell you what else is coming up here too. I just wanted to get you guys know because the two Saturday shows. By all means, go ahead and hit the notification. Notifications on. Go ahead and hit that. So when I do go live, you guys know when I do go. We'll be back here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. We'll be talking to two terrific twins, Mika and Kira from Double Feature Podcast. I cannot wait to talk to those young ladies. They're going to be awesome. I've already watched several of their videos, and I can see why they're very, very popular as far as being guests in other shows. We're going to do one a little bit better for them. I want you guys to show up for that, but I definitely want people who have not subscribed to their channel to do so because they're criminally underrated as far as YouTube subs go. They've just barely cracked 300, and their content is way better than that. Way better than that. I plan on trying to talk to them as much as they'll let me talk to them because I like their topics that they pick. Um, I sat for over an hour and just watched their content. Top 10 lady cops. That was a lot of fun. A lot of TV, which believe it or not, that's one thing that really kills me about our community is we don't really talk a lot of TV. We talk a lot of movies, but not a lot of TV. On Thursday, I don't even know if this is so much an interview. It's just hanging out with a very good friend, very close friend, and Betty J. Gathers. Her and I will just probably just chopping it up. We'll just probably be chopping it up on Thursday, but we'll be having a lot of fun with her. She's an inspiration to me. One of my inspirations. Um, let's see. Fast Vengeance is directed by. I have to see more of his work. I really liked what I saw, Stephen. I really liked what I saw in A Pale Horse. That was a very interesting movie, and I really, really liked it. I liked the lead actor, Parrish. Man, that guy. I felt like I was watching David Bowie. I really did. I felt like I was watching David Bowie, and I was down for it. It was great. And Alexandria Bard, that's who I want to talk to as well. She played the spirit. She plays the spirit in Pale Horse, and she not only was she great, but whoever did the makeup for that movie was spot on. That makeup is just gorgeous. The whole movie is really well done. There's a couple of things I'm not sure if they can go back and fix, but I do know that the sound was a little bit iffy here and there. But that's just a small quibble. But the movie itself, very interesting, very interesting. Natalie Byrne, sure, sure. We have to do a we have to find a time, Stephen, where we talk face to face. I definitely got a couple of things I want to share with you for sure. Good, helpful things. To make your job a little easier. Oh, excuse me. What, what are you doing? Why do you do that? You're goofy. Don't lick the carpet. Weird. Yeah, you're too weird. All right. Uh-oh. Let me go see where my guest is at. I haven't. All right. So Betty will be here with us on Thursday, and then next week's in the show, we start off with another podcast. We're going to be talking to Jimmy and Mike. They are co-hosts of a very fun podcast called "Bacon Is My Pod." That's the name. That's the name of their podcast. Is "Bacon Is My Pod." So they love bacon. But we'll be talking with them on Tuesday the 17th. Really nice guys, a lot of fun content, really good blog, and we'll be talking to them. They have a segment on their show. They have a segment on their show called Seven Questions with. So they're trying to get the answers to seven questions, while we're trying to get the answers to eight. Um, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. Do we have to flip a coin to see who gets to answer what questions? I don't know, but I do know that I'm looking forward to meeting them next Tuesday, and we'll be talking all things podcast with Jimmy and Mike, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then 18th, we have Laura Shadire. Um, when she gets here, we call her Shadire, and she is all around talent, including an animal rescuer. She rescues huskies, but she is also an actress, a visual artist, and I love the picture that I used for our interview. She has a lot of really glamorous pictures. Holy cow, she has some glamorous pictures, but I caught the picture that caught me is the one where she's with one of her rescues. It's a cute dog named Cream Puff, and it's a husky. And as soon as I saw that picture, I said, "That's the picture I'm going to use to talk about our show." Um, as you guys probably have noticed, I'm not sure if you guys pay attention to these things or not, but when I do my pictures for my show, I always try to be conservative in that respect. Um, even though there are some really fun pictures out there, especially some of the young ladies, that's not what we're all about here. We're all about getting to know the person. Sure, the pictures look awesome, and they're beautiful people, and I mean they're gorgeous. They have great figures and all that, but that's really not what we're about. We're here to talk about them, the inside of them, not the outside. Because I have questions. I've had comments to privately saying why, if you use more, if you use some of their pictures better, some of the more sexier ones, you might get more people. But all I'm gonna get is just looky loos, and I really don't want that. I really want people like you guys here in the chat who want to know who the person really is. And to me, I think that picture of Shadire with her cream puff is more representative of who she is than the picture of her looking glamorous. That's just my opinion. Yes, Laura is a poet as well, and hopefully we will get some. Hopefully we'll get some a couple of verses thrown our way. On the 19th, we will be talking to. Ah, oh my gosh, what did I put here? Oh, I know why. Because I thought I was gonna have to lose that. Well, I can't mention the 19th yet because I don't have that 100% nailed, but I will by the end of the day, night. Kelsey Livingood will be back with us on the 23rd. We had to reschedule that. Uh, she was not feeling good before, so we rescheduled her for Monday the 23rd. On the 24th, we'll be talking to a young Italian filmmaker, one of the youngest active filmmakers in the business today. Really young, probably like Adam Marcus young. Um, and his name is Francisco Sala, and he'll be here at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, the 24th. And then Robert Kundo will be with us on the 25th. Robert Kundo is a businessman and an inventor. He is a inventor, and he has created a really cool tool called the Restorer. And his story is really remarkable. And hold on here. Let me see if oh, okay. Ryder will be here shortly. He is firing up his laptop. So we will keep talking while he fires up the laptop. Yeah, I saw that, Stephen. I saw that you were. Thank you for stopping by. I saw you were busy. That's good. That's good. Yeah, and congratulations to the Horror Freak 85, Stephen. There, right there. Steven runs the House of Horrors, and he got himself an A-lister on the show. He has Joe Lynch coming in October. Joe Lynch is coming to the House of Horrors, and I do hope there will be a lot of questions about the Knights of Badassdom, which is my personal favorite movie that Joe Lynch has done. He's done a lot. Everly is really up there too. I love Everly. Everly is a badass movie. Holy shit, that's a badass movie. But I love Knights of Badassdom. That's a criminally underrated movie. That's a fun movie. So that will be uh let's see. No, I don't think I think Joe's coming in in October, Steven. I think Stephen Chang. I think he's coming in October. Suitable Flesh is great too. Yes, that's Heather Graham. Heather Graham was in that movie as well. She went on to do the Place of Bones right after that. So Heather Graham is making some really interesting choices right now, right? I mean, she really is. It's interesting watching her career right now. Summer Glau, yep, Summer Glau's in Knights of Badassdom. That girl does not age. She looks the same. She looks the same today as she did as she first did in Firefly. I saw I reviewed the Cape. She did the Cape, a very short run superhero series, and I reviewed that, and she looked just the same in that as she did in Firefly as well. Uh, yeah. October 9th is the date that Joe Lynch is scheduled to come out and hang out. So that will be. I'm glad that's on a Sunday. I'm glad I don't have to go against that because I would be probably be getting crushed. Um, yeah, the Cape was great. It just it got put on a Friday night. Is what happened to it. It got put on a Friday night, and Friday night is in network TV, except for CBS. I don't know how it worked, and but generally Friday nights is a graveyard for network TV. Um, I know that I can only think of right off the bat. I can only think of two series that I know of that lasted, other than a news series, what they kept on, they keep on throwing it out there. But as far as scripted plays go, scripted movies go, or series, I only know two that lasted more than 5 years. I know that Blue Bloods lasted for 14 years, and Grimm lasted for 6. But everything else that always goes into Friday night, actually Saturday night too, it's just grounded. It's grounded. They've learned, the networks have learned not to program anything into that slot because generally, rating speaking, nobody's at home. Nobody's at home, and that was even before streaming. That was even before streaming. The Cape was on before streaming, and it came out strong for like the first one or two episodes, and then it just dropped. The ratings just dropped. Now today, the ratings that the Cape got back then would actually make it a hit today. That's what blows me. That's what blows me away when I read TV Guide when I'm at the library. Oh, the doorbell has rang, and Ryder has come. His Ryder has come into the rescue. All right, this is going to be all right. So thank you for coming by. Share us out if you can, and let's get talking to filmmaker Ryder Hartman. Oh, god damn, Ryder Hartman. It will come in and talk to us. Here we go. You know you're in trouble when you can't pronounce the first name. You know.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Ryder?
Good. Sorry about my tardiness there. I was at work, so.
Oh, no, not a problem. Not a problem. Life comes first, for sure. I'm just sitting over here. Most of the time, I'm always having trouble with last names. I'm always massacring last names. And here right now, I can't get the first name. I'm going like, this is not a good thing for me.
Yeah, it's all good. People definitely call me Ryan quite a bit, so it's it's all right.
I'm glad you're here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
first thing, and I commented on this before you got here. One of the things I really was impressed with when I put out a feeler in an IMDb group, which is how you and I met, and
Mhm.
I put it out there saying like, who wants to do it? Who would want to do an interview? Now, to me, that's especially in that group, IMDb group, it's funnier than hell to me. Is when I'm watching all those other people, they're going over to the other person's IMDb page. I watched, I went to your page and I met, you mentioned one of their credits, so they could tell that you actually went over to their page. Um,
Mm.
and I find it humorous that people do that, and yet you put somebody up there going like, here's free press for you to come over here and talk to somebody and get exposed to a different audience,
Yeah.
and you can't get anybody to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, it- yes. And I talked to Gustav. I met him the same day you and I met. I paired you guys together on purpose. I scheduled you guys together on purpose because since I booked you guys on the same day. And Gustav is an experienced filmmaker. He's an
Mhm.
actor, filmmaker. He's got some credits underneath his belt. He knew the value of free press. He knows it.
Yes.
What makes more impressive is the fact that you knew it too, and you're just starting out.
Just starting out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on my own short film. I've worked on a couple other short films, as well as I did some background acting work on a feature length. But yeah, just starting and trying to get with it. So
The thing is too, you would have had, and you're sitting there going like, man, I don't have very much. I'm not sure. I don't want to waste your time. And I'm going like, man, there's just no way that we're not going to be talking. Uh, one, one because like I said, the value of press, and
yes.
it's like, man, any chance anybody comes up and wants to talk about me and what what I'm doing, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
and two, it takes courage to stand up there and say, I don't have that much on my resume, but I still like to talk. And I'm like, well, if he's that courageous to come on here and talk to us, then by God, we'll have him on.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you
and
so much for having me. I really,
oh,
this is great.
the honor is ours. The honor is ours. We're so glad you're here. I did watch Auto Heist, um,
Autotheist.
Autotheist. Okay,
Yes, yes.
man, that's a good movie.
Thank you so much.
I love that. I really loved how you kept the end to. I mean, you literally the last 5 seconds of the movie, the reveal.
Yeah,
It's like that's and I know so many more experienced film directors that cannot hide a reveal to save their life.
yeah.
And yet you managed to do it. I mean, it's like I mean, literally to the end of the film, and then you see, and it's like, oh wow, that is clever as hell.
Yeah,
Um, but before we get to Auto Thieves,
yeah.
um, let's talk a little bit about the craft, and let's talk a little bit about Edmonton, because you are from Edmonton. You are
Yes.
part of a thriving film community out there. Jamie Hill already came by here and said hello.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Jamie's great. Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. She's awesome.
yeah.
We actually talked to her. We actually talked to her.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a lot of fun. And we've talked to Brandon, and we talked to Elizabeth.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I helped them out for a couple days on Grotesque 2 just this last year. So yeah, yeah, they're incredible. Yeah.
I love the Grotesque series. I love Mildred. I think Mildred's a great character, but
So great.
they both know when it comes down to the person I really like is Genesis.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, come on. I'm Haunted is such a cool movie.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen that one yet, but it's on my watch list.
It's I tell you what, it's a tour de force. I would actually show that movie to students.
Really?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've only seen that a couple of times where an actor is asked to carry a movie by themselves. I'm Haunted.
Mhm.
I'm Haunted 2, and then another movie called Lock, and
Wow.
that one had Tom Hardy in it.
Oh,
And
I don't think I've heard of that one. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And then Elizabeth did the same thing with I'm Haunted, and it's just, to me, it's just like, man, they need to show this to acting classes. Like, look at the power of just one performer and how
Yeah.
they work hard. They have to work hard. You have to work hard as hell,
Oh
but
yeah.
you know this already.
Yeah.
So tell us about when you got into the business. I mean, what was your inspiration to becoming an actor? I mean, I don't know if Edmonton was quite the scene as it is now. Are you a lifetime Edmonton resident, or?
No. I've been in Edmonton about a year and a half now, around there. And I originally I grew up in Lacombe, so I'm still like Alberta based, but I spent a lot of time living in BC. I spent the last 5 years studying screenwriting, and just there wasn't really a lot of like film opportunities where I was living. So when I moved to Edmonton, that was the first thing I did. Was I went onto some Facebook groups and I was like, hey, does anybody need any help? I've never done any of this before, but I want to, sort of thing. And I talked to Sam Ayu from he's the producer on Grotesque 2, and she was like, hey, do you want to come and give us a hand? And that's kind of where it all started. And then someone told me about FAVA, the Film and Video Arts Society of Alberta, and that was like absolutely really important in getting Autotheist off the ground. And so yeah, it's just the journey, I guess, and trying to volunteer.
It helped you get the Autotheist off the ground because they helped fund it.
Well, so they it was funded through a course. So basically, we took this. I think it was about an 8-week course, like introductory, like how to make a short film, and they provided us with a rental package. So it was really great in like finding people to crew up for it, because I was able to just be like, hey, we have a rental package covered. So it was like I couldn't have done it without FAVA.
Now, how old were you when you first got the itch? I mean, and what came? I mean, what came first for you? Did acting come first? Did you want to be an actor first, then a filmmaker, or was it a filmmaker, or both at the same time, or whatever came first?
I think when I was younger, I was probably like, oh yeah, maybe I could be an actor. But I think I've just always had stories that I've wanted to tell, and I've wanted to be a filmmaker since as long as I can really remember. Like my first memory is seeing Jurassic Park in theaters, and I was probably around like three or four, and I just remember like being like, oh, well, that was really cool. How did they do that? And
Right.
so it's just I've always had that itch, but in the past 5 years, I've been studying screenwriting, like I said, and it's just like it's really ballooned from there.
Isn't it something? I hear that sometimes where someone will bring their 4-year-old into a movie like that, and you sit there going like, "What are you trying to do? Give the kid nightmares?"
Yeah.
And yet the kid is the one sitting there going like, "How'd they do that?" It's
Yeah.
like they're the ones going like, "Open the door," instead
Yeah.
of sitting there be all scared. The scene where where they put Laura Dern's head and they twist their head around and like, look. I keep
Yeah.
thinking about kids at the theater, like, here's Jurassic Park, and then mom and dad are going like this, and there's 4-year-old Junior going like, putting their heads up, like, look at that, how do they do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I think any parent that takes a child to see a movie like that and that's their reaction, I think they really need to sit there and think about, you know what? I think our kid wants to go into this business.
Yeah. Definitely.
They're not scared. They're not screaming like, "That's the dinosaur." No, they're like, wow, is that animatronic or is that CGI?
Yeah. Exactly.
uh, who wrote the story for this? It's just badass.
Yeah.
At 4 years old. What was the movie that when you were growing up that did that to you? Like, when obviously not 4 years old, but what was the first movie that really got you like, I want to do this, but then when you saw the movie, you said, I am going to do this.
I think Probably Pulp Fiction was when I really realized, and I was like, wow, that I've never seen anything like that before. And it was like, just I could tell that it was just such a really well made film, and like so many things came together for it. And yeah, just ever since I saw Pulp Fiction, and I started watching more Tarantino films, and old sci-fi film, like the original Alien and Aliens are like two of my all-time favorite movies. And just, yeah, just ever since I've kind of started watching those, I've known that this is what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be a storyteller and make films. So.
Steven mentioned about his movie. Said I think Death Becomes Her had that too. I guess that wow factor.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was an interesting movie. The
yeah.
head twist. Yeah, when they like look at this, look at this. Uh,
Yeah,
Such a great scene though, Jurassic Park. That scene.
yeah.
Actually, tell you the truth. Sometimes I go back and I rewatch that scene, and I'm sure you do as an actor and a director as well. But isn't that a fantastic scene of Laura Dern? I mean, without her saying a word. I
And
mean,
just like,
honestly, her reaction, I swear to God, I believe there was dinosaurs there.
yeah, exactly. Like it's
I'm
such
going
a,
like I believed it,
yeah.
because
And
that's exactly what it would. That's exactly how the reaction would be. And she did that same one, and then she's like, I believe her.
yeah, exactly.
What
Yeah.
are they? What are they keeping? What are they keeping hidden? Uh, uh, Yeah, that's interesting, the head twist without saying a word, you can say so much. Um,
Hmm.
here you are now. You're like, okay, I'm going to launch this. I'm going to do this. So, how did your parents feel about this? About you getting into the business?
My parents have always been very supportive of my creative endeavors. I've played music for a while when I was younger, and they were always uh, like there, and they kind of have just been like, oh, you want to make films? Okay, do it. I think you're going to be good at it. And so I've gotten a lot of support from them, a lot of support from my friends, and everybody who like a lot of the comments I've been getting lately about Autotheist are like, oh wow, Ryder, that was amazing, but I want more. And that's the biggest complaint I've been getting with it. So it's like, maybe I am doing something right.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel? Now, here's the trick question, though: is do you feel like you told your story in Auto Theist and you can leave it alone and work on something new, or you think that you'll have to go back and revisit it?
I'm definitely wanting to revisit it. I'm currently working on a feature length version of Autotheist. As a writer, it's kind of hard. I'm having third act problems, but it's coming along, and I'm really looking forward to it, and just hopefully maybe making it into a feature one day.
I think that's the hardest part for about a short film. I really
Mhm.
do. I just feel it is because you make the short film because basically that's what you had the budget for,
Yeah,
or experience for.
yeah,
Um, and then people, then they want to come back to it.
yeah,
Sometimes, and I'm not telling you, I'm just telling you how I felt. Sometimes, sometimes when you create a perfect little gem like that, sometimes it's okay to leave it alone.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes it's
definitely.
all, I mean, sometimes there was. I mean, I watched one movie called Cargo, and
Mm.
it was a
Oh,
short film. Remember Cargo?
I do remember Cargo. Yes, the short was incredible. I've watched that short
Great.
probably 5 or 6 times,
Yes, me
and
too.
I don't think I've actually watched the feature length because
Nope.
I was like, no, the short is fine. So
Yeah, the short is perfection. It
yes,
really is. It's exactly. It told the story it wanted to tell, and and then I might have been more okay with it if they had the original the actor who played the dad in the short. but
Yes.
they go Hollywood on us and put Martin Freeman in there. And while I adore Martin Freeman, I mean, he's a
Oh,
great actor.
incredible actor. Yeah.
You know, I have no problem with him, but I had a problem with that. You know, it's like I wish they hadn't have done it.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I'm sure the writer and director would had the itch like you did, like, you know, I can expound on this. I could, because the reaction you get is like, wow, if they're like this with a 13-minute short film, what are they going to do with a 90-minute? Well,
Exactly.
let me get the writing. Um,
Yeah.
so, now, while you're doing that, are you still creating shorts as you go, like, or are you
Yes.
just, yes,
Yes. I have a folder full of shorts right now that are pretty much just all production ready. I'm working on a short film this coming weekend with my friends, and then after that I'll be getting together with my team, and we'll be producing a micro short about 5-6 minutes, and hopefully just releasing that one online. So
that would be awesome. I'm not sure if Edmonton has this. I'm not sure if I ever asked this with Brandon or Elizabeth, but or Jamie. But do you guys have the 48-hour film challenge? Have you ever heard of one of those?
there are a couple of those. Yeah. There was one just recently, the Got a Minute Film Festival, which is it wasn't a film challenge, but it's like a minute long silent film. I had a couple of friends who made some projects for that, but I just kind of came in under the gun, and I wasn't really ready, and I didn't have anything ready. So, but yeah, the 48-hour film challenges are really such a great way to learn
Isn't it?
and network and just kind of get the feel for filmmaking, which is really great.
I love them.
Yeah.
The first time I heard about them was a director in Cleveland, and they were talking about how the 48 film challenge was. A friend of mine actually did one, and he showed me his, and I'm like, wow, you did this in all of 2 days. It's
Yeah.
an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's really incredible the things that people can come up with in such a short amount of time, and it's like, and it's a really great way to showcase. It's like, hey, I did this in 48 hours. Imagine what I can do with a month, sort of thing.
Now you haven't done any live theater though as of yet, right?
I have done some. I did some camera operating for live theater during the pandemic, but like as a writer or an actor, no, I haven't done any live theater.
Is that something you plan on exploring as you move forward?
I think I'm mainly going to be focusing on film. I love theater, and I respect theater, but it's just not really
Really?
not not my cup of tea, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Now I noticed when I was doing some background here, and I thought this was really cool as well. You mentioned that you're ingenuous, in the
Indigenous.
yes, indigenous, which is that's just another name for a Native Canadian, right?
Yes.
Canadian. Okay, so how is that part of your life? How has that helped or hindered you in your career? Has it, because the way I read it, it seemed to be really helping you. Like people seem to be, they want to hear stories. They want to hear stories about the Indians in Canada, and because there's been some really banger movies from some great horror movies that come down from there with an all a native cast.
Yeah.
Um, how's that helped or hindered you? I'd love to hear you tell me it hasn't hindered you.
It hasn't. I don't. I also don't really know how it's helped me. It's just kind of that's just who I am. So I try not to focus too much on that and just make good things. And
Right.
yeah.
Now, like I mean, I'm just thinking it's only fair, but do they have, in order to bring people into the film community, have they done that? Is there any sort of organization that can help young filmmakers such as yourself that are native Canadians? I
There
want
there definitely is. There's a lot of grants as well that are kind of geared towards that. I have a lot of those grants though. They want a specific kind of like content, Whereas I definitely prefer to write what I want to write. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
so they make it, yeah. So you have to write about if you want to get a grant, you have to make your movie specifically about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough.
That's just some grants. There are other ones that are more open to the creativity of filmmaking and everything. So it's really just picking the right ones.
Okay. So I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it hasn't hindered. I
Yeah.
think it will. I think it will come into play forward. That will help you, though. I mean, people will, and you know what? And when someone comments on it in a positive way, I think it only can only help you. That's
Yes,
just.
absolutely.
Uh, uh, so, what are some of the films and directors and actors that when you watched that inspired you? Like, this is a hell of a director, this is a hell of an actor, a hell of an actress, or screenwriter. What are some of the shows and movies that really moved you and really just made you want to grab pen and paper or grab a camera?
Jordan Peele is probably one of my all-time favorite filmmakers at the moment. I actually when he has a new film come out, what I try to do is I'll try to read the screenplay before I go see it because I love the way that he writes and the way his characters kind of develop through the script. Quentin Tarantino, obviously, he's a classic. I really like Robert Eggers as well. He's making some really crazy, interesting films, and Alex Garland also is another big inspiration for me. So
Right, right. Yeah, Robert Eggers. I'm a huge. I love The Witch.
oh, The Witch is amazing. I'm really looking forward to Nosferatu.
I don't know about that, but I just, I like The Witch. Because I think he came up with an icon in that movie, and it's so underneath the radar. Sort of like a Sam from Trick or
Yeah,
Treat. Every time you think Trick or Treat, the first thing you think of is Sam, right?
yeah,
And for
exactly.
me, like, what's the first thing you think of when you hear The Witch? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
uh what's his name? The goat.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly what it is. The first thing in my mind when I think of the witch is like it's not the pretty girl, Anna Joy Taylor. It's not her. It's Black Phillip. He just built the movie. He makes me laugh. It's like I don't know. I'm sure that I'm sure when Robert was sitting there watching the early testings with that, with the audience, I'm sure he probably didn't mean for that to happen. Where like to me, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
I would have been laughing my ass off. Well, because the goat acting like a cat. It's like that goat is awesome.
Yeah. Apparently,
What
it was very hard to work with that goat, and it retired from filmmaking after The Witch. So,
did it? Maybe it got possessed.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. I you know what I guess with me, I mean, this is one cool thing too. I know they're doing Nostra. I can't pronounce my one. I, I I haven't had a stroke. I promise you. Uh, uh, the only thing that bothers me about doing a movie like that is it's already been done over and over and over. It's like
Exactly.
I don't know what you're bringing to the party you know. Do you really think that you're coming to playing the part? I mean, there's been so many great actors have done it. I mean, you're competing. Not only are you competing with yourself on set, but anybody who's ever played a vampire, you're competing with that as well, and that's a mountain. I mean,
Yeah.
you can say, "Well, I'm not competing at all." Well, you know what? That's exactly what you're doing. If you play a part like that, you're saying that you can come in there and make the part yours. And
Yes.
and in this case, for vampires, it's one of those rare things that there's nobody going to be sitting on top of the mountain because the mountain is too high. You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
though I will have to say that Ingrid Pitt made a really strong impression on me last week.
Mm.
Um, you know who Ingrid Pitt is?
No.
So after this is over with, just go to Wikipedia and type in Ingrid Pitt. She
Mhm.
was she starred in a lot of the Hammer films from the 70s.
Oh, okay.
She looks like Sophie Marceau,
Okay.
a French actress. She looks just like Sophie Marceau. They could be sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. But I'm thinking about as far as vampire movies go. I'm just thinking. I mean, if what would how would you play Dracula or a vampire? How would you play it as an actor?
I probably wouldn't try to. I don't think.
Yeah, that's honest. That's honest. I can appreciate that.
Yeah. I vampires are it's like you said, it's been done, and I'm looking forward to Nosferatu just because it's Robert Eggers, and I think that he's going to bring a brand new kind of vision to that like classic movie from, was it the 20s, 1920s. So I'm just excited to see what new stuff he kind of comes up with.
I think the last time they did it with that vampire, I think it was with Werner Herzog and Klaus well, not Carl. I know it wasn't Carl. It's Klaus something or another, and they had such a difficult time making that movie.
Yeah.
People loved it, but it was a hard movie to make. But I like the honesty. Like yeah, I wouldn't. But what if you got asked to do a screenplay? Now that's a whole different ball of wax, isn't it?
That is definitely. I think I would try to come up with something new and something interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just to me, it's just a story that's been told too many times for me to get excited about it.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who's 21 or 22 and they haven't watched the old classics. Maybe that's their fresh one. That's their first time being exposed to it.
Yeah.
But I'm much older than that, so I'm just not quite there.
Yeah.
For a movie like that. But I can understand it.
There
I
was
go ahead.
recently there was another vampire film that came out that was actually really good. It was The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Right.
And that's based off of the, like, I think it was like one page in the original Dracula like novel, and they took it and they expanded it, and it actually turned out to be a really fantastic film. The ending was a little bit like, oh, here comes a sequel, but like for the most part it was, they took some chances and a lot of them paid off. So
We talked earlier about expanding a short film into a full length. It's a trap in for
yeah.
some. Do you feel that's the way same thing directors do too? Do you think directors or screenwriters, probably screenwriters, do you think it's a trap for them to always feel like they need to write a sequel?
I think it could be something that that people kind of hope for. At the same time, it's like, I'm writing something, this is really good, hopefully I can do a sequel, but it does definitely feel like a trap, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't write this so good, then I have to write a sequel.
Steven is a public relations. He does public relations, and he's commenting that he would love to help promote you. He does it for nothing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's very kind of you, Steven. I appreciate that. He does help, and he does. I know this because I see it out there. But he
Mhm.
also works with Elizabeth and Jamie. Yeah, he gets he's got a big heart. I really like Steven. It's a really nice guy. And our other friend Steven here is in here as well. We were just talking about him. He does a podcast as well,
Mhm.
and he just added himself Joe Lynch on his show.
Mhm.
That's a good one. Joe Lynch is he's a director that I really really like. I really enjoy him. Um,
Mhm.
so as far as screenwriting goes, because one of the things that does happen, I think happens for a lot of young film screenwriters, is they do fall into that trap, like because you can see it, like if their first movie is out there, and like a lot of independent films, they like you said, like for the Demeter, here comes the sequel. Why
Yeah.
do you feel like what is it almost is it do they teach that? And like when you went to screenwriting school, did they teach you to leave the script open for a sequel?
I actually didn't go to screenwriting school. I all of the studying I've done has been just kind of on my own and finding stuff online and studying like that. Um, I have always been of like I've just always just tried to write something good. That's the only thing I'm really ever focusing on when I'm writing. I try not to think of like, oh, where could the story go after this, after I make this. I'm just like, where's the story going now? That's what I like to focus on when I'm
Um,
writing.
well, let's talk about the process of Autotheist. So, where did the idea come from in the first place?
Well, I have, I've battled some mental health issues in my time, and so that kind of led into it a little bit. I, I'm a big fan of John Carpenter, and just the idea of like setting it in the mouth of madness is kind of where a bit of the inspiration for Autotheist came from. And I originally was writing it as more of a cosmic horror, but it kind of turned into more of like a supernatural horror. And yeah, no, it kind of just came. I went into the video lab course with Fava with a different script that I wanted to make, and we were doing some we took one of our classes in one of the studios at Fava, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I had the idea for Autotheist in my head for a while, and I was like, maybe I should write this instead. So yeah, it took me about a week to write Autotheist.
Wow,
After yeah.
that's pretty quick, really, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes the inspiration just kind of strikes and you kind of just let it come out. And I think a lot of my scripts are kind of like that, where I'm just like, oh, hey, this would be a cool idea. And then it kind of appears. It's kind of a hard process to quantify.
Where do you write at? I mean, do you write out in public, like at do you like writing out in public? Like I know a lot of screenwriters like sitting there with a cup of coffee at a coffee shop and writing, or at a park or something, or are you in your room quiet, no noise at all?
It's usually I'm just on the couch. It's usually about 3 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, I've got an idea. I'm going to start writing, and then 4 hours later, it's like, oh, I should probably go to bed.
Oh,
um,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'll have the TV going on in the background, and like just a little bit of noise to keep my mind from wandering too much.
yes, yeah. I have to have that too.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm working on the show here, I'll be typing in, whatever I need to do, but I have to have some background noise behind it. You know, I,
Yes.
I just can't sit here quietly and do it. I'm like, I get distracted, I just can't do it. So I'll put on, I'll put on rain, or I'll put on a fireplace, or I'll listen to somebody's playlist here on the tube. Um, uh, so as far as writing, at 3 o'clock in the morning, is that pretty much the normal thing, or
That's pretty much the normal thing. Yeah. When
now I heard you say scripts with an S on it, so you must have a lot of stories that you've already written.
I do have, yeah, I have probably 6 shorts that are probably ready for production, and then a bunch of other ones that are just a couple pages, and just in the beginning concept phases. And yeah, they just kind of randomly come to me, and I start writing them. So
Okay. Now, when you got to Edmonton, and you came over and you went on the Facebook group, and said, "Hey, I like to get involved. How do I get involved in the community?" And then or you got reached out to come work on Grotesque. What was
mhm.
it on Grotesque 2? What was it? Was that your first active set that you walked on to film on, or
First
because
set, yes.
wow. So
Yeah,
what was it like for you? I mean, what was going through your mind when you went to the set?
the main thing that was running through my mind was, don't be embarrassing. Don't overstep, and don't try to mess with how they're doing, and just try to focus and pay attention to what's going on, and try to learn as much as I possibly could. um, that was mainly what was going through my head. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. I can imagine what it'd be like to be on a set for the first time like that. It's like, I think I'd just be a bundle of nerves.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I
I
think I
think
said maybe 5 words to 3 people. So
I think I would just look for something, like if someone's breaking down lighting or rigging or whatnot, I would probably walk over there and say, "Hey, do you need a hand?" Just so I could actually like feel like I belong there a little bit. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, but all the people were really nice, weren't they?
Oh, they
Friendly.
were so nice. It
Yeah.
was genuinely like it felt like a very open set, and I mean, it was a closed set. We had a lot of extras there that day, but yeah, I felt very welcomed, and they were
Okay.
very like friendly. So
So you started out with the background work. So you're brand new to this. So like have you ever done anything like did you know what background work was? Um,
yes,
were you surprised by how much you had to do for it?
I no, not really. I kind of I've been studying acting as well, just to be a better director and writer. And so it wasn't really new, but it was like, oh, okay, well, we're doing it like this, and you know, so it was definitely a new experience, and I've learned a lot from it. So
Now, have you worked with have you since then have you worked with Brandon on any other projects?
no, not yet.
Not yet, but that'll probably happen. That's one
Hopefully,
thing he does. That's one thing he does. He always I always imagine his desk. I always imagine a big Rolodex there, like with everybody that he's worked with that he wants to work with as well.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He's a fantastic filmmaker, and it really was really special, like watching him work and direct the scenes and direct everybody. So
Now I asked this with Gustav earlier. Let me ask you the same question, Ryder. Why do you feel I know though you've only directed the auto face as far as finished film, but let me ask you this question: why do you think it is like not saying that there has to be more than one one chief or so, but why do you feel, in your opinion, why can't directors work more together, like on projects, like collaborate?
I think I think it has to do with kind of too many cooks in the kitchen sort of thing, when because most directors I know, they have a very distinct and clear vision for how they want their film, and I think it's kind of hard to find people who think that exact same way, which makes co-directing kind of a problem. But that being said, I have my been talking with a friend, and he wants me to co-direct a project with him as well. So it's really just finding the right people to collaborate with, because if you want to do something this way and then they come in, they're like, well, why don't we do it this way? It's really easy to butt heads that way, and having a disagreement about something that you've like really sat down and been picturing in your head for so long, and then someone's like, well, let's do it this way. It can be a little frustrating, I think.
Because to me, because he mentioned that he works on different film sets. He does crew work on other film sets, and I've heard this before. Talking with some directors on here, and one of the questions I'll sit there and say, if it's a director on another director's set, I've always want like how long does it usually take for another director to come to the other one and sit there and say, like, what do you think? It's
Mm-hmm.
natural. You know, I mean, yes, you could sit there and say, well, I would never ask anybody anything, but I don't know that. I don't think that's true. I think
Mm-hmm.
if there's a director on set, maybe he's doing a different role, maybe he's shadowy, maybe he's there seeing a producer, who knows, right? But I feel like if he's there, I think the director in charge, I think invariably he's going to be curious because
Mm-hmm.
it's a peer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not someone above him, it's not someone below him, it's someone at his same level. And
Exactly.
and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you walked onto Martin Scorsese's set tomorrow, and I walk onto this set and I see you and I see Scorsese. Guess what I'm seeing? I'm not seeing this. I'm seeing this.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing, well, yeah, that guy's done, you're still peers. You're still doing the same thing. There's
Hmm.
nothing, anything that he's doing that you can't do yourself. Doesn't make him any, just because he's got more experience, sure, but doesn't make you any less of a director than he is.
Yeah.
But to me, I think it's a natural curiosity. Uh, if I'm a director and I see a fellow director, I think it's just a natural curiosity to go over there and say, "What do you see?"
Yeah.
You know, and to me,
And
it's like, go ahead.
I think another big part too is when you're on set and you're directing, you have to be in charge and you have to have all the answers. And it might come across as like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be here if I'm asking other questions from another director. So I think when you first walk onto a set that you are directing or a project that you're directing, you need to have all those answers and you need to know like
Mhm.
what you're doing that day. So I think that kind of plays into it a little bit as well.
I love when I talk to an actor or a young director, and I'll sit there and I'll say, well, what do like, it's your first time or watching or whatnot, and I cannot tell you how many times I've heard or read or whatnot where someone has been over in the corner making notes.
Hmm.
They're making notes on how you handle a situation.
Hmm.
You're helping them without really knowing it. But a lot of times at the end, when their movie does come out, all of a sudden there it is. Special thanks to Ryder Hartman. And you might not even know about it. You might be sitting there going, "What? What? I
Yeah.
don't know how that happened, but thanks." It's like, but because you allow them to, whether intentionally or not, but you allow them to shadow and to take notes. I want to improve my craft. I like the way he handled this situation with the scouting. The location scouting. I like the way he handled that. I want to incorporate that into my my toolbox. I
Yeah.
like that. So let me make the notes of that. Now, how about you? Did you do that yourself? I mean, did you, when you were on the set, when you weren't when you weren't shooting, were you making small notes to yourself about, like, okay, so this is how they set up a set, and how they handle certain situations. Did you yourself do that for your
I,
for
I
you?
was taking a lot of mental notes, absolutely, and like I think at that point I was really focused on how directors speak to the actors, and that's what I
Mhm.
was trying to pay the most attention to is like that the language and how they how they ask for another take or say like, oh, that wasn't that great, let's do it again. And that was
Mm,
that was really what I was trying to focus the most on and learn about. So yeah.
right. Yeah. Wow. I don't know. I don't. Did they do that? Did they sit there and say, "Let's do it again"? That wasn't great. I mean,
No,
wow.
no.
I mean, I'm just sitting there going like I know one actor. I tell this story a bit, but I watched a show called Scrubs. I
Hmm.
love it. I love the show, but I'm watching all the special features, and Bill Lawrence, who was the creator and director, he said there was a lot of times where John C. McGinley was doing a scene, and he would do the scene, and then right at the end of it he just go, "Let's do another one," let's he walk off, like, "Now let's do another one."
Hmm.
And I really got me was like, but you didn't ask any of the other actors, and to me, you're making that call, and I'm going like, I just felt like, what if the three actors that you acted with just now, what if they were really happy with what they just did? Maybe they
Hmm.
felt that was their best performance, and you just walked up there and said, "No, we could do that again. I can do that. We could do that better." I
Yeah,
just feel like, I think if you're doing your own scene and you're the only one in the camera, I think, yeah, maybe you have that, and if the director's all right with it, you can make that call. But I was just sitting there going like, man, if I was sitting there and I was acting my ass off, and somebody walks up there and says, "Yeah, I could, let's do that again," because I didn't feel like I was good enough. It's just like, wow, this is supposed to be a collaborative effort. This isn't just you. It's not about you. It's about all of us.
exactly.
wow, it blew me away when I heard that. Because I'm like, I wonder how many times people have punched him in the nose for that, verbally or theoretically or what have you. But I wonder if he did that on Platoon.
Yeah.
You do that to Oliver Stone, like that's we could do that better. What did you say?
Yeah. Yeah, when I direct actors, I try to keep the collaboration there as much as possible. The first thing we filmed for Autotheist, I didn't give any notes or directions. We set up the camera and I said go, because I wanted to see, because the actors who were in the scene, they had the script for, I think it was like a month, 2 months at that point. So I wanted to see what they had come up with themselves. And the way we did it was we shot the scene and then I was like, let's make small adjustments from there, and to kind of get where we were both happy, or all three of us were happy. So
Let's talk about the cast and the crew for Auto Thieves real quick. So where did you find them at? Are they all Edmonton-based actors?
all Edmonton based. I originally, the first person who crewed up for Autotheist was our cinematographer, Hattie Zunji. He is incredible. I cannot stress enough just how talented of a camera operator he is. And I made these crappy little, stick figure storyboards, and, he took them and he put them on the screen. Like he was such a great find for that. And the performers, the cast, everybody, it was just so unbelievably talented. And I'm still kind of reeling over the fact that, all of those people volunteered for that project. I didn't pay a single person for Autotheist, and I still got that degree of talent from everybody, and I'm still just blown away by it.
But you did feed them, though.
I did feed them, of course, yes. That's the number one rule. Feed your people.
I saw an actress put that out there saying they're looking for someone to do a shoot. Like they were doing like we don't have any money, but if you come out and help us out, you'll get an IMDb credit. And that personally I mean, it's cool, I guess. But I'm going like, let me. And so I said, well, let me help her out a little bit. And I wrote, and I put in the comment section. After her help wanted, I put, and there will be snacks.
Yeah.
And she actually answered me back, says, yes, there will be snacks. And I said, I thought I'd just help out with that, because people want to. At least I'll get some snacks if I make this trip out here. I mean, you got to give them something. You just can't sit out there and say, come here, on your gas and on your gas and no food, no, you're just out there, no pay. You got to offer somebody something other than IMDb credit. I mean, it's a lovely thing to do, but I feel a lot better if I had like some food in my belly, at the end of it, and not necessarily pizza.
Yeah, it's always pizza too, isn't it?
Was that for you? Is that what you did?
We did pizza on one night. We definitely did pizza for one night, but yeah, we tried to do a little bit of different food every day. I think we had I think it was 5 days of shooting for Autotheist, so we tried to get something different every day.
Okay. Now I noticed that the actors that you got, were they all friends of yours, or
No.
was this actually a casting call? Did you cast all the actors yourself?
I casted 99%. Dr. Lisa, her husband at the end, was actually our first assistant director. Found him because she knew him from just from her personal life. Brought him on, and it was like, oh wow, this guy's perfect for this role. And it was just an open casting call on YEG Film and YEG Casting. And I just put it out, and went through the audition tapes. We had a bunch of audition tapes, and Peyton and Joel and Marissa, they blew me away with their auditions. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the IMDb page for Autotheist, and a lot of times when you see someone with no picture, that means they're just getting started into it. Um, were these all relatively new actors getting into the business, or had they been around for a while?
So Marissa and Joel are mainly theater actors, I believe, and they do a lot of the theater around town. Peyton has done quite a few shorts. I think she's done. She worked on one called Mammon with David, who's actually going to be co-directing that project I was telling you about with. And yeah, they just she's incredible. Like she blew me
Yeah, I
away.
really liked her a lot. I really like Peyton. I was sitting there going like, yeah, that might be someone I need to look up.
Yeah.
Uh, and I actually really liked Marissa as well.
Yeah, Marissa
Uh,
was
I
phenomenal.
thought I thought I thought I was really interested in her. I loved how she played her role. I
Mhm.
thought it was really good. It looked like she looked just like a doctor. I mean, she
Yeah,
really did. And then at the very end, I'm not going to spoil it, but that very end, that last scene, it's just like, yeah, that's somebody who knows what's going on.
yeah,
She gets it.
yeah.
And the thing is, though, and you told them that you let them improv most of the lines, right?
No, no. So we did have they followed the script pretty much to a T, but it was kind of just how they acted each scene out was I wanted to see the character that they came up with first. And so, I did that with every new actor, like each because we shot the hospital scenes first, and then we shot the office scenes. And so yeah, I did the same thing with Marissa. I was just like, action, go. Let me see what's going on. And then we made small adjustments from there.
And she's a theater actress.
Yes.
That's not easy for her,
I
you know.
and honestly, I at no point did I ever have to be like, "Hey, you're playing for the back right now." That's not something we ran into. So it just everything came together really easily for Autotheist. So
How did you like the casting? What were you looking for in finding your characters? I mean, when you were going through all the audition tapes, what were you looking for?
just looking for that. I don't know. I really don't know. I was just kind of I
The hard
wasn't
question.
expecting to find people like such incredibly talented people. And so I think it was when I first saw everyone's tapes, I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be really good. And just like asking people to volunteer, I was not expecting it. So uh,
Oh, so you when you asked for volunteers, pretty soon you saw. I bet you saw yourself. I bet you saw yourself when they walked onto the set for the first time. You're going like, did I look like that? Did I have that same look in my, like wide eye look, like I'm on a movie set. Hey Jamie, there she is, Jamie Hill, in the house saying hello, hello.
hi, Jamie.
So yep. I can't wait to have Jamie come back and hang out with us soon.
Yeah,
Um,
she's great. Actually, I was on set with her for a short film just recently called The Hearse Driver with Stephen Pace.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll be looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah.
So hello, glad to see you on here. Yeah. Ryder was really quick. You and Gustav were really quick to jump on that. And again, I want to talk about that a little bit more too. But when you got your film made,
Mhm.
when you got Autotheist made, you said it took you 5 days. Did you edit it yourself?
So I actually, while we were looking for locations for the office scene, we met Andy Lau, who is he actually ended up doing a lot of the editing for Autotheist, and ever since then he's kind of come on as a producer for some upcoming projects as well. So that was another really like lucky thing that just kind of came through. And he was like, "Hey, do you want to edit it here?" And he had this really incredible setup for it and everything. So yeah.
Are you ready for the next step as far as actually, like for Autotheist, if you want to make a feature film out of it, are you ready for that part of the process? And that is raising a budget.
That's definitely the hardest thing. Just finding money to make films is it kind of makes my brain itch a little bit.
What kind
So
of money is spent? I mean, we hear this all the time, money, 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 money. But what's the big? Isn't the biggest part of a movie the budget? Isn't it go? Doesn't it isn't it for the cast and crew?
it's for the cast and crew. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I recently ran a crowdfunding campaign for a short. We didn't meet our budget, so I ended up refunding everybody. But yeah, like the bulk of the budget was going towards paying the cast and the crew and making sure everybody was happy with the amount of money they were being paid. So
now, do you negotiate yourself individually with every? There's a cast and crew? Do they negotiate themselves individually, or is it just we're paying this department this amount of money, this department this amount of money, or is it all individual where you have to negotiate a salary for every crew member?
It's kind of individually. Some people have like their standard rates that they charge, and it's like, I can't really afford to pay you that. Can we go down a little bit? And it's just really having that relationship with each of your cast and your crew and being like, hey, could we do this a little bit cheaper?
Remember, you had that secret. We had that secret weapon in the back. Every director has that secret weapon in the back pocket. I may not be able to pay you that much, but we could do pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's always pizza.
There's always pizza. Always pizza.
Well, you've been on a couple of sets now, a few sets. What is your favorite craft services food? Where do you like to eat when you're on a set?
Honestly, I don't eat a lot when I'm on set. I think I'm so enamored with the process of filmmaking, I kind of forget to eat sometimes on set. And then they call for lunch, and it's like, oh wow, I haven't eaten anything for 9 hours. I should probably get some fruit snacks or something.
And Jamie says Andy is great. So now you got Autotheist in the now it's up and running. Now, have you released it yet, or what's the plan with Autotheist? Are you going to take it to festival, or are you going to be showing it around town? Have you showed it? Has it seen it? Has it been publicly watched yet?
It has been. So we showed it at the Next Fest during the film portion of their programming. We just were accepted into Night of Horror for Three Fires International, and they partner with TIFF, so that's pretty exciting. That's in Ottawa. I have a couple notification dates for festivals coming up that hopefully it gets accepted into, and I'm hoping to have it online probably around the end of October.
Okay. Let me know, because I plan on reviewing it after we get done here. I don't do reviews before I talk to the filmmaker. But I will definitely do a review afterwards. If that's okay with you, feel comfortable with that,
Yeah, absolutely.
go ahead and review it and put it on your page. Just let me know if you need it taken down. Some festivals are really a pain in the ass for me, because it's like, they'll sit there to tell you, well, we don't want any reviews for a film. We are, it's like, I can understand that if you're paying me money, I can understand you asking me that, but you're not paying me money. I'm paying you money. And if somebody wants to review my film and help get it out there a little bit more, I'm all about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they have an ass backwards.
Yeah.
A lot of these. I think the direction's wrong. I feel like, you know what? It's great if you can have a film, and yeah, I mean, it might be some bumpy reviews into it, but you know what? That's part of the process.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually had to pull out of a festival because they were like, well, we're not going to show it in our theater portion, but it will be shown online. And I was like, well, no, I'm going to have to pull out now because I have other festival submissions that are waiting, and they don't want something that's been, publicly played online. So it's definitely a strange thing to kind of maneuver around.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Especially
is.
when you have something and you're really excited about it and you just want to show everybody, right? So
And it's like, and again, it's like, it's like, I totally get that as far as festivals go. I totally get that. But at the same time, it's like, if I get a chance to show it to somebody, I don't know who's going to watch it. Maybe somebody sees it on the YouTube and then comes over to me and says, I'm a producer. I like what you did. Let's talk. Let's do something together. I might have
exactly.
that opportunity. But you're telling me like, yeah, I don't want you showing your movie. And the festival's not for 4 months down the road. So you
Yeah,
want me to keep quiet about it for 4 months while and then what happens when I do show it at your festival? Are you gonna like guarantee me a distributing deal out of that? Are you gonna a speculation deal out of that? What comes out of that for me as a filmmaker? I
hmm,
personally feel like majority of those film festivals are just they're just not needed. Some of them, yes. South by Southwest, Toronto, some of the, I get that, cons, I get that, but
hmm,
it's brutal. It's brutal. You make it, and to me, it's like, don't, have your festival out there, but accept, get your deadline in to like 2 months before. You make it as
yeah,
small as possible for the filmmaker.
exactly.
It's all about the festival is about the filmmaker. You wouldn't have a festival without without filmmakers.
Hmm.
And to me, it's like they shouldn't be catering to you. You should be catering to them because they're providing you why a reason for you being here. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's just how I feel about it.
No, I completely agree. It's definitely, it's been a learning curve, like festival submissions and everything like that. And I completely agree. Like it's definitely, it needs to change a little bit, I think. But
It really does.
yeah.
Now, what kind of now? I was going to ask you this. Now, you did the supernatural horror with
Mhm.
Auto. Are you a big horror fan? And are you a big horror fan? Is that your favorite genre, horror?
Horror and sci-fi are definitely the main things that I write and what I think about the most, and like those are the movies I'm most excited to go see. So yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the spot right here
Mhm.
because Amy's here right here. But what did you think about Skinner Moranik?
I actually haven't seen Skinamarink yet.
Oh,
Uh,
you're so
it's
busted.
it's on my
You're so
watch
busted.
list. I've been working a lot and not watching as many movies as I'd like to,
You
but
you do
it's
know
definitely
you do know it's been out for well over a year now, right?
yes, yes. It's on my watch list.
I would love to hear your thoughts as a director on that film when you watch it. You'll have to like you have to tell me. You have to sit there, Patrick. I watched Skinner Moranik. I want to talk about it, and we'll do that because it's,
Yeah,
it's
I'll shoot you a message when I finally watch it.
well, you have to watch that, and you have to watch what's the other film you're going to be watching?
Um,
You didn't
oh,
write
what
this.
was it?
Huh?
Sorry, what
You,
was it?
you have to. I'm haunted.
I'm Haunted. That's what it was. Yes,
Yeah, don't
actually,
don't mess up. Don't mess that up. You know what Elizabeth's all about.
yes.
She'll
I'm
take it.
gonna actually write
She'll
that
take us
down
behind the woodshed.
right. Yeah.
I love her character. I love Genesis. I think Genesis is it's one of my favorite characters ever. It's so much fun.
Mhm.
Have any play? I mean, what's your? We've got time for a couple of more questions. So let me ask this: where do you see yourself in 5 years, Ryder?
Hopefully, making
What-
features.
Hopefully making.
That's that's what I want to be doing. I want to be at least writing or directing or just somehow working in the industry. Right now, I'm working, just in a kitchen and it's paying
Sure.
the bills, but it's just not what I want to be doing. I find that the second I step onto a film set, all of my problems just kind of disappear, and it's like, oh, I'm just happy to be here and happy to be creating. So that's definitely what I want to be doing in the next 5 years.
Well, I think you have a serious shot at doing just that based on Autotheist. Definitely way above average as far as a short film from a first time filmmaker goes. And I've seen a lot of short films. I'm a huge fan of the format.
Hmm.
Um, I sometimes I'll sit there and put Omeletto on and just
Yeah.
watch all the short films. There's some amazing short films being made. Um, yeah, I've seen some. I love it. I love the genre. Just promise me one thing though. If you do a horror film, please, for the love of God, please make one with a Wendigo in it. That's all I ask.
I actually I have a script about a Wendigo that
I'm
is.
so I'm so tired of U.S. filmmakers making a Wendigo and putting it in freaking South Carolina. It's not, it's not an American creature. It's a Canadian one,
Yeah.
and I want to see a Wendigo in Canada.
Hmm.
Oh my God, nothing bothers me more than I watch it's a Wendigo. It's like it's not a Wendigo.
Yeah. It's an urban legend from somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's Candyman. All right, Ryder. I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. I really enjoyed our talk. I hope you had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. This was a blast.
I had a blast talking to you. And thank you for coming in, Jamie and Steven, both Stevens. Thank you and Jaden. Thank you for coming in. And yeah, it was a blast. I can't
Yeah,
wait to see what your next project is. And when it does get completed and you're ready to show it, let us know, and we'll come talk about it with you.
absolutely. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Uh, I want to thank just stay right there for one more minute. I want to thank the chat for coming out and hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow night. With Mika and Kira from Double Feature Podcast. And they will be here and we'll be talking all sorts of fun film. What's coming up in the fall? What are some of their favorite films? Um, why Haley Berry is still, I cannot wait to ask this question. I watched Gothica recently, and I watched it for the first time since I think it came out.
Mhm.
And I watched this movie, and this I'm thinking about I'm thinking about this. I watched Gothica. Have you seen that one?
I think I watched it a while ago. I couldn't really tell you what it was about, but I've definitely
Well,
seen it.
um, so I'm sitting there watching Gothica, and it came out like in 2000, 1999. It's a great movie, fantastic
Mhm.
movie. And I'm watching it, and I'm going like, I watched it when it came out, and I'm watching it now, and I'm sitting there, and I'm going like, I'm going like, this is the only film that I've ever seen where African American woman actress has been the lead in a horror
Mm.
film. It's the first time, and I'm going like, and it's still the first time. I cannot think of another actress that has led a film, like led the film. Now, I've
Mhm.
seen some that are like with an ensemble cast, like Ma, with
Mhm.
Octavia Spencer, but that was more of an ensemble cast.
Yeah,
Uh, as
she was
far
more
as
the villain in that one, I think, too.
yeah, she was definitely more of the villain, but I'm just thinking to myself, going like, wow, how is this even possible that this has happened? That here we are 25 years later, and this is still has happened.
Yeah,
So I'm going like, I need to talk to somebody about this. And so it's going to be one of my questions to I'm giving it away to Mika and Kira tomorrow. I cannot wait to talk to them, and they have a great channel. And you have a YouTube channel as well, right?
I do. It's right. There's not much on it right now, but that is where I will be posting, trailers and stuff for upcoming projects and things like
I
that.
will get that and add it to your. I'll add it to your social media links down below, and so people can find you and sub to your channel, so they can find out what you're doing.
Perfect.
But yeah, but tomorrow night we'll be having Mika and Kira on the show, and then Thursday we'll have our good friend Betty J. Gathers will come over here and we'll be chewing the fat on Thursday at 8 p.m. But that's it for us. We are out of here. Again, stay one second, Ryder, and then
Yep.
to everybody else, thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Peace. Oops, I knew that was going to happen.